The Americans escaped! Stop him!
Attention all prison level security. Report to the isolation block immediately. It seems our guest was unhappy with his accommodations. Show him how much safer he is in his den.
Radio. Rogers to base. Come in. Over.
Captain, it's Peggy. Thank God you're alive. What's your status?
I'm in a prison complex. Probably underground. They took the shield and my supply belt. Has there been any word from the invaders?
They all bailed out before the crash. Dernier, Gabriel, and Marita have set up some small artillery on a nearby hillside. They said Bucky, Falsworth, and Dugan bailed out over the castle.
Then Madam Hydra's got them. They're probably nearby.
I know how you feel, but be careful. Fighting without your shield will take getting used to.
I'm gonna search the area. Try to determine where they're being held. Radio Marita and tell him to stand by for coordinates. From what I've seen down there, I may need that artillery. Rogers, out.
Attention cell block security. I'm authorizing the use of advanced weaponry. All safety protocols are listed. Deploy the wardens immediately.
On your knees.
You're a big one. Looks familiar. I think the lab Zola dragged me through is on the other side, and I'm betting my shield is too. An underground railway. That must be how they keep this place supplied. Zola wanted my shield analyzed. This is where he'd do it.
Zola will have our heads. Protect the shield with your lives. Don't let him escape! You Americans have the electric chair. We have this.
That's better. Felt naked without this. My gear. Good, everything's still intact.
My poor foolish captain. You really think you can save them? You're already too late. I think Dugan's my favorite. He reminds me of a dog I used to have so much fun with.
Cap, don't. It's a trap.
Ah, now you feel like talking. Lovely. Let's see what else you have to say.
He must have taken Dum Dum deeper inside. If I don't find him soon.
Find him! He can't be allowed to escape!
Security codes for access doors have been updated. That biotech note. Access to the cell blocks and labs is now as follows. Hotel Gamma 4, 2 Alpha Tango.
They've got them all right. Bucky's locked up in an adjoining wing. Just have to find the right door. According to the prison logs, Bucky's cell should be somewhere around here. I'll bet my shield can disrupt those transformers. Wait a second. That lock mechanism looks pretty flimsy. I bet I could pop it with a little explosive putty.
Leave yellow apartment of colors than yours.
Hitting harder's great. Hitting smarter.
chance. Let me go, and I'll take you both on unarmed. It's the best offer you'll get. I'm trying to help you, dummy. You hear that alarm? It's him. Trust me, you'd rather take your chances with this kid.
Bucky, are you all right?
I used to get worse from that fat kid on Delancey. Big as a brick house and twice as stupid.
The others? Are they...
Alive last I saw him. Madam Hydra took Dugan and Fallsworth, that direction. But we're not the only ones. They've got POWs from everywhere. Americans, Brits, Russians, Free French, you name it. Cap, they've been tortured, starved. They need medics.
They'll get them. I'll notify Peggy to send extra transport.
No one on this level. Check Sector 7.
Listen, there's a railway tunnel running west of here. Ends in a bridge. They use it to bring in supplies. It's our best shot at getting that many men outside. I'll bust them out, if you can take care of the snipers in the guard tower.
Consider it done.
Here, courtesy of Stark. Miniaturized short-range radio receiver, so the invaders can keep in touch.
Amazing. Look at the size of it.
I'll be impressed when it picks up Fibber, McGee, and Molly. Now, once I get the prisoners out, I'll come back inside and...
No. You'll rendezvous with the others and head to the extraction point.
When hell freezes over...
Buck, if what you told me is true, these men will never make it on their own.
Always a killjoy, huh, Rogers?
Take care of yourself.
You too, Steve.
Cap, keep those snipers busy while I free the prisoners.
Leave it to me.
Keep shooting! Don't let them escape! On full ricochet! Thinking of the bones that the flesh would fill our bellies. Open fire! Okay, we're all clear and heading for the train. See you there.
Attention all security staff. This is Madam Hydra. It seems my little pets are escaping their pens. All long-range units converge on the eastern rail bridge. The rest of you, kill the super soldier!
Let's get out of here. Cap. I've almost got the controls unlocked.
Good going. Is there a way to open that bulkhead door?
Not from here. We need your help with that. There should be a control panel on the observation deck above you.
Copy. I'll take a look. I'll handle that. Keep moving. Don't stop for anything. I need serious firepower to breach those bunkers. Missile turret's just what the doctor ordered. Missile turret's just what the doctor ordered.
Was ist?
made it, Cap. Man, that was hairy for a while.
And it could be again if they come after you. So let's make sure they don't. Rogers to Merida, do you read? Peggy told me you boys have artillery. I could definitely use some.
Roger Wilco, Cap. Just give me coordinates.
There's some sort of range-finding radar device up here. I'll see if I can get it to work. Stand by.
Copy, standing by.
Rogers to Merida. Prepare to receive coordinates by Morse code.
Coordinates received. Get clear, Cap. All right, Gabe, stand by for initial fire order. Cap, it's Bucky. One of the POWs overheard a code cipher Zola used to get deeper into the labs. It's Delta 117 Foxtrot.
Copy. Thanks, Buck. Now get those men clear. I'm going back in to find Dugan and Fallsworth.
There is a Code 12 evacuation in progress. Several experiments have escaped containment. Armored security is en route.
Too many! Can't get out! What is that infernal racket?
Apologies, madam. We seem to have a containment breach. Security is en route. We have the situation under control.
Is it you do? The prisoners are nearly prepped and we do not wish to be interrupted.
The obvious place to begin is with the common foot soldier. Small genetic alterations make them more resilient. But the true breakthrough is a faster synaptic response between the eye and the brain. These men are capable of acquiring a target and firing with 100% accuracy 3 times more quickly than the average human. This increase in combat speed allows for them to be outfitted with both close and long-range ballistic weaponry. Security personnel are equipped with light armor and a shotgun for close-range skirmishing. Snipers forego armor for a long-range eye-mounted scope and a high-powered semi-automatic rifle. These enhancements to conventional troop warfare represent a mere stepping stone towards far more ambitious plans. Still, one must begin somewhere. Further study of the American super soldier has led to a grand departure from my prior approach. This Captain America, as their propaganda machine calls him, approaches combat without the use of a firearm. I now understand why. The average enemy soldier is well trained in ballistics, but woefully unprepared for hand-to-hand combat. It is this weakness I shall exploit. A heavy dose of the enhancement serum leaves our subjects resilient, strong, but nearly suicidal with rage. I have outfitted them with high-powered stun batons that output 900 kilovolts with lethal amperage on contact. Protected by a compact ballistic shield, my troops can swarm entrenched enemy positions and engage in close-quarter combat. Once the distance is closed, the enemy has little chance against these deadly, unfamiliar weapons. To increase survival rates during initial swarming charges, my foot soldiers will require long-range support. With the power of the cube, I have modified the classic flamethrower to integrate a high-powered plasma output. It launches a stream of superheated plasma so powerful that it vaporizes the air around it, creating a nearly perfect beam of scorching gas. To assist in situations where targets are not within the line of sight, a rocket-propelled grenade launcher has been fitted to the weapon. For long-term use of this heavy equipment in the field, dramatic genetic strength enhancement proved necessary. The alterations have had some unexpected side effects. The subjects are prone to violent psychosis and sadistic urges. Of course, these personality flaws are of little concern in non-leadership personnel, and in combat can often be quite desirable. Our excavations of the tunnels beneath the castle create the need for demolition and removal of heavy debris. To this end, I have perfected the first successful grafting of mechanical apparatus onto the human body. Using the cube, I have developed a pneumatic jackhammer arm and attached it to heavily augmented soldiers. A targeted lobotomy removes the traditional psychotic side effects, keeping these workers calm and pliable. It also results in a total removal of any compassion, making the subjects ideal for handling prisoners. We have outfitted them with riot shields for crowd control. This mingling of flesh and machine intrigues me. Perhaps the future of evolution lies not within, but outside our fragile forms. I may revisit some of my early experiments in mechanical design, explore the possibilities further. I had assumed the Skull's head of security was a pompous old fool, but he proved to be neither. To my great surprise, he approached me as a willing research subject. He became obsessed with a mechanical glove I'd designed. It was one of my first experiments with the use of the cube. The grafting was an expensive and irreversible process, but the outcome was successful. Regrettably, the procedure was too time-consuming for mass production. But von Strucker is training with the device, And should it make him as deadly as I suspect, I may revisit the matter. I have placed a most ambitious woman in charge of the cell blocks. Current mores dictate that women are delicate flowers, best used to breed the next generation of perfection. As a scholar, I know this to be nonsense. History is rife with accounts of female warriors, and I believe we have one here. At my suggestion, the rank of Madam Hydra has been awarded to this young lady. She declines genetic augmentation. Certain stereotypes, such as a woman's vanity, are after all true, but she has commissioned exotic ordnance from my labs. I was able to shrink the mechanisms of 2 fully automatic high-powered rifles to the size of a pair of pistols. Again, too costly for mass production, but when she made her request, I could not refuse. She shows a natural affinity for chemistry, specifically the use of toxins. The prisoners provide a ready source of test subjects for her imaginative research. I have given her leave to experiment as she wishes, provided they remain alive and healthy enough for my work. True, there have been accidents, but the sparkle in her eyes on these occasions, it's its own reward.
I am overcome. Today, I was bequeathed the full history of the Zemo lineage by my father Hermann, the 11th Baron Zemo, as he lay upon his deathbed. The sorrow of his passing is quite nearly eclipsed by the joy and pride I feel in learning the truth of the glory inherent in our illustrious bloodline. Of course, I was familiar with the legends of the first Baron Zemo. How in 1480 Harbin Zemo stood alone against an invading horde. Armed solely with a sword, he slew them all. He was elevated to nobility as a reward, but greatness was already in his blood. And today, I have learned the true reason he constructed Castle Zemo so far into the remote mountain peaks. I had always assumed the isolated mountainous location of Castle Zemo to be strategic, the better to defend against attacks from invaders or unruly peasants. And no doubt those were considerations, but it seems my ancestor was motivated by a desire to investigate legends of something buried under these mountains, something unimaginably powerful. Something referred to in half-remembered tales only as the Sleeper. Harbin Zemo began excavating beneath this castle even as it was constructed. Simultaneously, he oversaw the architectural innovations that, even then, reflected the brilliance of our line. But he would not live to see his quest reach fruition. That honor fell to the third Baron, Hela Zemo. It was he who found the Sleeper. But the journey was not ended. It was only beginning. It appears the massive size of the Sleeper, along with its highly advanced technology, confounded Hela Zemo. He could not determine how to fully excavate the Sleeper without undermining and collapsing the mountain itself. But like all of our line, he would not accept defeat. He began analyzing the Sleeper's makeup in search of a solution to its own confinement. Many secrets were unlocked by careful examination of the Sleeper's technology. These, along with our meticulously bred genius, of course, enabled numerous advancements by subsequent Barons Zemo. Innovations that allowed excavation to proceed, albeit slowly. But it is I, the 12th and greatest of us all, who will finally achieve the victory denied my ancestors. It is I who will at last wake the sleeper. What are the sleeper's origins? Does it hail from the stars, from a distant future or some antediluvian past? Is it an artifact of long-forgotten gods? These questions are intriguing, but secondary to the matter of how the sleeper will affect the future. The past has seen a proud line of Barons Zemo. But for tomorrow, I must confess, Emperor Zemo has a certain poetry to it. I feel the hands of my illustrious ancestors at work in what happened today. I have been contacted by a man who shares my vision, if not my noble heritage. He calls himself the Red Skull, an overly theatrical title to my tastes, but I must admit the resources at his disposal are impressive indeed. I have agreed to meet with him. This evening I received the Red Skull in the ballroom. I fear the splendor of the setting was wasted on the man. He appears single-minded in his focus on conquest and the acquisition of power. Still, these are desirable traits, and he clearly possesses the intelligence to recognize my importance in the success of his plans. I have agreed to future meetings. An alliance may prove mutually beneficial. The skull both impresses and repels me. I confess to admiring the skill with which he has manipulated the present political tides to his own advantage. He has acquired backing from the regime in Berlin, while using those resources to build an army loyal only to him, the Order of HYDRA. This has enabled him to accomplish much. Perhaps my own reticence to tolerate the presence of my inferiors has held me back in this regard. I have granted the Skull permission to house certain of his lackeys here while we go about our work. I must say, the individuals the Skull surrounds himself with are distasteful in the extreme. Most of all, the loathsome scientist Arnim Zola, whose undeniable genius cannot compensate for his odious personality. I fully understand the need for pushing boundaries in order to achieve technological advancement, but there is a fine line between ambition and recklessness, a line Zola crossed long ago. I am over...